In today's show, Bitcoin reaches for 47,000. As analysts agree, Bitcoin price consolidation cannot last. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis. And as Galaxy BTC shares here, never once Bitcoin looked like this when it ended its bullish cycle. Never since its inception, it's always dropped sharply without much recovery. Check out this chart. We are in a consolidation before the next massive move to the upside. And as shared here by Will and Clemente, someone just aggressively shorted the bottom, trying to trigger a long liquidation cascade. They failed and are now covering their short. And this just in breaking news, $10 billion DeVere Group CEO says it's likely that 3 more nations will adopt Bitcoin as legal tender in 2022. That's right. And as Plan B shares here, assets lined up by their stock to flow ratio and market value. Just coincidence or meaningful pattern? Note that the current Bitcoin cluster from 2020 to 2024, upper right blue dots, is half filled. Also in today's show, El Salvador prepares 20 bills to provide a legal framework for Bitcoin bonds. As Nayib Bukele shares here, it's to cover and guarantee the Bitcoin volcano bonds, but also a full re-engineering of the economy and the way a nation state does business. Everybody searching for freedom, this is the place to come. Also in today's show, macro guru Raoul Pal says crypto to become the fastest growing asset class in history and says it could reach this market cap by 2030. That's right. In a new interview with Bankless Brasil, Pal says crypto's market cap could skyrocket by 100x within the next decade. Quoting him here, if I look at all the other asset classes around the world, equities, bonds, real estate, they're all between $250 and $350 trillion. If I look at the total derivatives market, it's 1 quadrillion. I think there is a reasonable chance of this being a $250 trillion asset class, which is 100x from here, which would be the largest growth of any asset class in all of history in the shortest period of time. Also in today's show, Bitcoin $100,000 is possible by chipping away at gold's market share, according to Goldman Sachs. That's right, despite its ups and downs, Bitcoin still managed to top Goldman Sachs' 2021 return scorecard with over 60% yearly returns, while gold is placed at the bottom in the same chart with a 4% yearly loss. Also in today's show, we'll be taking a look at the overall crypto market. As you can see, Bitcoin, Ether, and many of the alts are currently correcting back in the red. But where's the Bitcoin price likely to go next? Find out all this, plus so much more, in today's show. Here at Crypto News Alerts, I drop a brand new episode every single day. The goal is to get to 100,000 subs along with a $100,000 Bitcoin price. If you like getting that crypto, be sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. Today's episode is brought to you by the FTX app, formerly known as Blockfolio. I've been using this app literally every single day for the past few years. It's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is check my crypto portfolio. I personally love it because it's the easiest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin, Ether, and other top cryptocurrencies with zero fees, truly making this a no-brainer. And they're trusted by over 6 million people worldwide and over 200 plus countries around the world. And I have a special promo they're running right now where you can earn free crypto on every trade over $10. Here's how it works. When you use my referral link in the description right down below, every trade over $10 earns you a chance to get a random free coin, and the more you trade, the more you earn. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and use my referral link in the description right down below and download the FTX app today. Make some trades, claim your free crypto, and let's start stacking those sats. Shall we? All right, welcome back to another episode of Crypto News Alerts. I'm your host, JV. How's it going, crypto fam? Holla at your boy in the live chat. Now, Bitcoin recovered from new lows of $45,550 this morning on January 5th as analysts waited patiently for a squeeze to trigger fresh volatility. Right here, looking at the Bitcoin 1-hour candle chart. Now, data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed Bitcoin returning to the previous day's levels near 47,000 on Binance at the time of this recording, and the repeated dips have failed to unsettle the market participants who now turn to the prospect of an abrupt move up or down in the coming weeks. Volatility in a time of flat funding rates and record high open interest on derivative markets, they have said Tuesday was all but a given. Quoting on-chain analyst Will and Clemente here, think we enter volatility squeeze by the end of the month. And a popular indicator which Clemente acknowledged as one of his favorite tools is the Bollinger Bands, which uses 2 standard deviation bands around the Bitcoin spot price to assess when volatility is likely to come. So the question of the week, however, was whether the move move would be, up or down. Quoting Clemente here, if we get that same setup from late July, an initial pop down to low 40s out of a squeeze, I will definitely be a buyer there. And a further post unveiled the likely cause of the $45,550 dip, a trader's failed attempt to short the lows, and a subsequent buyback, as pointed out here by the on-chain analyst. Someone just aggressively shorted the bottom, trying to trigger a long liquidation cascade. They failed and are now covering their short. And those looking for upside, meanwhile, highlighted two macro factors: inflation, which is running hotter than anticipated, but had yet to be fully reacted to by Bitcoin yet. And view-wise, we are still holding out for an upside move in the near term, trading firm QCP Capital wrote in its latest update to Telegram channel subscribers, quoting them here, looking at the 10-year break-even inflation rate, which has historically had a high correlation with BTC, there has been a material divergence since end of December. If Bitcoin plays catch up here, we can see the move towards $60,000. Now, inflation cues are due next week with the publication of December's Consumer Price Index data. And as Galaxy BTC shares here, never once Bitcoin looked like this when it ended its bullish cycle. Never since its inception. It's always dropped sharply without much recovery. Check out this chart. We're in a consolidation before the next massive move to the upside. So basically, Galaxy was observing periods of consolidation following the price tops throughout Bitcoin's history, concluding that $69,000 top back in November cannot logically form a multi-year high. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst, and checking out the latest from Plan B, creator of the Bitcoin stock to flow model. He updated us this morning. Assets lined up by their stock to flow ratio and market value. Just coincidence or meaningful pattern? Note that the current Bitcoin cluster between 2020 to 2024 with the upper right blue dots is half filled. And as you can see here in this chart, it shows no math, no model, just data. So there you have it. And this just in breaking news, $10 billion DeVere Group CEO says it's likely that 3 more nations will adopt Bitcoin as legal tender in 2022. And as pointed out right here, some say 2 countries, some say 3 countries, some say 5 countries. This is the world we're in today. Who had countries clout chasing to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender in their models for 2022? Touche. And before I break down next story of the day, El Salvador prepares 20 bills to provide the legal framework for Bitcoin bonds, as well as macro guru Raoul Pal says crypto to become the fastest growing asset class in history, and says it could reach this market cap by 2030, as well as Bitcoin to $100,000 as possible by chipping away at gold's market share, according to Goldman Sachs. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market. As you can see, all the major cryptos are currently correcting and in the red, with Bitcoin down 2.3% for the day, maintaining just above $46,300. We have Ether down 2%, trading just above $3,800, while Solana is down 3%, trading at $168. Avalanche down about 4%, trading at $105. Luna down 4.5%, trading at about $85, and Cardano down 2%, trading at $1.32. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. El Salvador's government, led by President Nayib Bukele, shout out to Bukele, has moved ahead with his plans to issue Bitcoin bonds by preparing 20 bills designed to provide the legal framework for them. Now, Alejandro Zayala, head of Treasury, told Salvadoran media El Mundo on Tuesday that the bills were covering regulations about issuing securities as cryptocurrency to ensure the viability of the Bitcoin bonds that were proposed in November 2021. He shared the following: "This is to provide a legal structure and legal certainty to everyone who buys the Bitcoin bond." However, he did not propose a time frame for the legislation to be submitted to lawmakers. The $1 billion sought by the bond issuance would be used to fund the Bitcoin City initiative, which Bukele has promised will provide digital and technological education, geothermal energy for the entire city, and efficient and sustainable public transport. Now, one of the features of the Bitcoin City is a Bitcoin mining operation that harnesses the geothermal power generated by a volcano to power the mining rigs, leading the bonds to being dubbed volcano bonds. Now, the mining operation mined its first 0.00599,179 BTC on October 1st, 2021, so it's already fully functional. Now, funds from the bond issue would also be used to pay down the $800 million Euro bond issue, which will mature in January 2023. Now, Zayala told El Mundo that the country would need to find financiers to help fill their obligation to pay off the Euro bonds, which could come from Bitcoin bonds or from institutional offers from various investment banks, rather than another Euro bond issue. Quoting him here, "We can simply make payments without creating another Euro bond in the traditional market, and we can find a bond that is denominated in dollars and receives payment in BTC. Now, a Eurobond is a debt tool for countries to raise funds in a denomination other than their own currency. Now, Zayala also indicated that there is significant interest in the Bitcoin bond from investors as it offers exposure to BTC and a 10-year maturity with 6.5% interest. Now, the issuance of bonds would not, however, preclude the Central American nation from participating in traditional finance. Zayala said, "We're not going to abandon the traditional market." Now, notable partners with El Salvador in the creation of the Bitcoin bonds include blockchain developer Blockstream and iFinex, the latter of which is closely related to the stablecoin Tether, USDT. The bonds are expected to be issued on Blockstream's Liquid network and processed by iFinex. Now, Bukele tweeted his 2022 predictions on Sunday, saying that Bitcoin City will commence construction and Volcano bonds will be oversubscribed. Checking out his original tweet here, 2022 predictions on Bitcoin. Bitcoin will reach $100,000. 2 more countries will adopt it as legal tender, will become a major electoral issue in the U.S. elections this year. Bitcoin City will commence construction, Volcano bonds will be oversubscribed, and a huge surprise at the Bitcoin 2022 conference. Now, which countries do you think are most likely to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender this year in 2022? Let me know your answers in the comments right down below. I want to give a quick shout out to iTrust Capital, the world's largest crypto IRA platform with over $3.5 billion in transactions. If you're looking to trade crypto tax-free, look no further than iTrust. And yes, they are backed by the world's leading institutional cold storage provider, Coinbase Custody, with a $320 million insurance policy. So go ahead and use my referral link in the description right down below to take advantage of the #1 crypto IRA provider in America. And if you sign up today, you're going to receive a $100 funding reward as a free bonus. So go ahead and use my referral link in the description right down below, and let's start stacking those sats tax-free. And before I break down next story of the day, macro guru Raoul Pal says crypto to become the fastest growing asset class in history, and says it could reach this market cap by 2030, as well as Bitcoin, $100,000 is possible by chipping away at gold's market share, according to Goldman Sachs. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market cap, sitting just above $2.2 trillion with about $94 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. And the Bitcoin dominance is as low as I've seen it since 2018 at 39.3%, with the Ether dominance at 20.3%. And checking out the top gainers within the top 100, we have Live Peer leading the pack, up 19% for the day, trading at $50.42, followed by Mina or Mina, however you pronounce it, up 17.5%, trading at $4.16, followed by Internet Computer, aka ICP, up 12%, trading at $35.74. Now, which altcoins are you most bullish on for 2022? Let me know in the comments right down below. And now checking out one of my favorite indicators is the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Shows we're currently rated a 24 out of 100 in extreme fear. Yesterday a 23, last week a 27, and last month a 16 in extreme fear. And if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That can be a great buying opportunity, like we're witnessing right now. BTFD, buy that blood on the streets, buy that freaking dip. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal thinks crypto will become the fastest growing asset class in world history. Preach. In a new interview with Bankless Brasil, Pal says crypto's market cap could skyrocket by 100x within the next decade. With the current crypto market cap sitting at around $2.2 trillion, keep that in mind, quoting Raoul Pal here. If I look at all the other asset classes around the world, equities, bonds, real estate, they're all between $250 and $350 trillion. If I look at the total derivatives market, it's 1 quadrillion. I think there is a reasonable chance of this being a $250 trillion asset class, which is 100x from here, which would be the largest growth of any asset class in all of history in the shortest period of time. That will pretty much dovetail into the idea that 3.5 billion people are using it. That's just extrapolating the growth numbers of the network. So if there are 3.5 billion users in 2030, well, the market cap's going to be something like $250 trillion. Is straightforward with just using network adoption models. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the macro guru, and running some math. If Bitcoin itself was to 100x from here, we're talking about a $5 million Bitcoin price. And if Ethereum was to 100x, we're talking about a $400,000 Ethereum. Now, Powell adds that the impending crypto regulation around the globe presents less downside for major cryptos, but it is a huge risk for the smaller, riskier altcoins. Quoting him again here, I don't know what the format of where we go, whether we keep up with the log trend and keep hitting the bottom with a sharp sell down of 50% and back up again, or whether we trend sideways for a year. I think we'll see both types of those price actions. And to watch the entire interview with the macro guru himself, check the show notes below the video in the description. And now before I break down our final story of the day, Bitcoin to $100,000 is possible by chipping away at gold's market share, according to Goldman Sachs. But first, I want to remind you to smash that show more button right below this video in the description for a detailed analysis of what's going on in the crypto market. This goes for all 1,000 plus videos right here on my YouTube channel. Also, some very helpful resources for you to plug into, including my new crypto merch store, which is now live at merch.cryptonewsalerts.net. Also have a daily letter, which goes out to over 30,000 subscribers every single day. To subscribe, visit letter.cryptonewsalerts.net. But all right, now let's break down our final story of the day. Bitcoin failed to close 2021 above the long anticipated $100,000 level, but experts believe that this psychological horizon is still achievable by taking gold's market share, albeit over a more extended period. In a note released to investors on Tuesday, Goldman Sachs co-head of global FX and EM strategy, Zach Pandel, hypothesized that if the largest crypto could overtake 50% of the store value market share over the next 5 years, Bitcoin price would increase to just over that six-figure mark, marking a compound annualized return of 18%. Like, whoa, let's freaking go. And while the current Bitcoin market cap is close to $884 billion, Goldman Sachs estimates that the float adjusted market cap of Bitcoin is under $700 billion, accounting for 1/5 of the store value market. The said market is not crowded though. The only other participant of Goldman's store value market is gold, with an available investment at $2.6 trillion. Now, despite its ups and downs, Bitcoin still managed to top Goldman Sachs' 2021 return scorecard with over 60% yearly returns, while gold is placed at the bottom in the same chart with a 4% yearly loss. Take that, Peter Schiff. And as you can see, the percentages here: Bitcoin up 60%, crude oil up 55%, S&P 500 up 29%, and you can see gold at the very bottom of the list, negative 4%. It is what it is. Now, Goldman Sachs experts believe that the demand for BTC will not be harmed by the hot debate surrounding the Bitcoin Energy's network consumption, because we all know that's nothing more than FUD, right? And while a recent study claims that the Bitcoin ecosystem consumes 8 times the energy of Google and Facebook combined, New York Digital Investment Group estimates that the Bitcoin mining will not represent more than 0.4% of the global electricity consumption over the next decade. That's right, because the future of energy consumption is green, just like what they're doing in El Salvador, mining Bitcoin with volcanoes using geothermal technology. Now, Bitcoin saw a bumpy ride over the last year, but we're still up 60%, so not too shabby, right? Many experts believe that that six-figure price point was an easy target for the flagship crypto for 2021. However, Bitcoin closed the year around 47,000 after touching an all-time high of around 69,000 in November, falling short of analysts' ambitious targets. And checking out this poll from Plan B, he asked his audience, what do you think Bitcoin price will be by the end of next year, December 2022? And out of 178,985 votes, 32.6% responded between $100,000 and $200,000. 31.1% said between $50,000 and $100,000, while 23.7% said under $50,000, while 12.6% of them said above $200,000. Where do you feel the Bitcoin price will likely be by the end of this year? Let me know in the comments below. Also, like to point out that the stock to flow X model, which is the cross asset model, predicts a $288,000 Bitcoin price medium average between now and 2024. And now for a quick recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. Bitcoin reaches for 47,000. As analysts agree, Bitcoin price consolidation cannot last. Also in today's show, I showed that El Salvador prepares 20 bills to provide a legal framework for Bitcoin bonds, as well as macro guru Raoul Pal says crypto to become the fastest growing asset class in history and says it can grow 100x by 2030. Also in today's show, we discussed Bitcoin to $100,000 being possible by chipping away at gold's market share, according to Goldman Sachs. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below. Now for the top 3 comments from yesterday's episode. David Knowles wrote, great show as always, mate. You've got to get an F Elon, JV and me ain't selling logo on your merch store, mate. I'm buying when you do. Great idea. I'll be sure to add that per your request. Thanks for the idea. Love it. F Elon. I am not selling. Now for our next feature comment of the day comes from Chad Crypto, who wrote, hey JV, Chad from down under Australia here. Love your work, brother. Never miss your podcast. Hey bro, your sub strongly correlated to the Bitcoin price. Have you noticed noticed that. Thanks for tuning in from Down Under, fam. Yes, very correlated for a very long time as well. Amazing, isn't it? Now for our third and final feature comment comes from our very own Inner Dino, who wrote, "Thanks JV, love the show. I agree with the president and love the fact that the ex-first lady is the Bitcoiner. Cheers, Inner Dino. Glad you enjoyed the show, fam." Yes, doesn't get any sweeter than that. And to be featured on tomorrow's episode, drop me a comment right down below. Well, that's going to conclude today's show. As always, I appreciate you tuning in and journeying along with me inside this incredible crypto matrix. That's right, Bitcoin is the glitch in the matrix. And if you gain value out of today's show, be sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell. Help me get to 100,000 subs so we can get to $100,000 Bitcoin price. And I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode. Peace.